Thanks for getting back to us. We really appreciate your feedback. I just got a question off Facebook now and the question is, like Joseph, did he have to forgive, and does forgiveness necessarily lead to reconciliation? Very, very important question. You know, I think as you read through the rest of Genesis, especially as we go right to the end of the book of Genesis, where we see a level of reconciliation between Joseph and his brothers, Joseph, I think, made the decision to forgive his brothers long before he saw them. I don't think he ever believed he would ever see them again. I don't think it ever crossed his mind that somehow fate would bring them back together, or circumstances would bring them back together again. He may have even forgotten his own dream about his brothers bowing down to him. I don't think that became an issue for him. But because Joseph knew that if he didn't forgive, it was going to deal a blow to the rest of his life and to his ability to actually thrive where he was. It's only possible for someone like Joseph to have done so well, not just in Potiphar's house, but even in prison later on, and ultimately in the palace, after you have forgiven the person who has hurt you. You know, somebody once described it this way. They said that, you know, withholding forgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the person that you're angry with to die. When you don't forgive a person, you're actually carrying bitterness around with you. When you don't forgive an individual, you're the one who's carrying the burden of pain, and the person may just carry on with their lives, even forgotten what they did to you or how they hurt you. In Joseph's case, he probably had not forgotten for a long time what his brothers had done to him, but he knew he had to forgive them for his own sake and for his own future. Now, the issue of reconciliation has to do much more with how you are willing to bring about not things the way they were, but a new reality. Now, in Joseph's case, he had forgiven his brothers for what they had done, because he realized later on, as we read in the Bible, that God meant it for good, in the sense that God caused all of these things to happen so that Joseph would be the center point to bring help and rescue to his family, and not just his family, but later on to the entire nation, to the entire household of the children of Israel. Now, the reconciliation actually came much, much later, because the brothers came to Egypt, they bought grain, they went back to Israel, and then they eventually came back when they discovered it was Joseph. But we find out that after Jacob's death, after their father had died, they thought, okay, now Dad is out of the picture, Joseph is going to come at us with such retribution and payback that we will never survive. So they went to Joseph and they told him a lie. They said that, you know what, before Dad died, he said, please forgive your brothers and reconcile with them. And Joseph said something interesting. He said to them, you know, am I in the place of God? Can I behave towards you as a judge? And if we want true reconciliation, we must separate ourselves and say, well, God has healed me, God has helped me to forgive, but he hasn't given me the right to hold things against those who have hurt me. I cannot be in the place of God. And so Joseph speaks comfortably to his brothers, peaceably to his brothers, and he says to them, I'm here because God ordained all of this to happen. The painful things, and even now the blessed things. All of these were ordained by God so that we can be at this place of healing, this place of reconciliation. Reconciliation begins when you understand what God was doing in you, and that the fault that was done towards you by the people who hurt you was not necessarily their own fault, but it was a part of God's divine design to make things happen. Now, of course, when his brothers came and asked them, Joseph, to forgive them, he was already ready to forgive them because he already had many, many years before. And so reconciliation was much, much easier. So reconciliation really works best when both parties are willing to come together, having forgiven each other, and ready to look at the future together. If that doesn't happen, if one party decides they want to go off in their own direction, it's up to them. And we can't control people's future or control their lives. Now, if you're in a situation where you find it tough to forgive, you need to come to church. You need to talk to us. You need to come to CITAM Parklands. We'll be more than happy to talk with you during the course of the week, working hours, Monday to Saturday. You can come on Sunday and meet with us after the services. The first service is at 8:30 and the second is at 11:30. There are pastors, myself included, who are here after all of those services ready to talk to anyone who wants to speak on any of the subjects that you have come across here on CITAM Church Online. You can always contact us directly, reaching out to any of the platforms that are on the screen as we speak, and we will get back to you. We will have a solution and an answer for you. But we will always be happy to see you face to face and pray with you. So please do join us here at CITAM Parklands next Sunday, if you can make it, at 8:30 or at 11:30.